Hello and welcome to the Game Week 8 edition of the FPL Score podcast with me, Matthias, and my co-host Kevin. We are now back from international break finally, and it has been a grueling international break, especially for Kevin. Not so much for me, because Norway are getting to the World Cup, which we'll both go to, I assume. I assume we'll both go to the World Cup next year to go to the US and actually do that trip that we've talked about for a long time. But since Sweden are not qualifying now, they're not going to be there. Norway are going to be there, but Sweden are not going to be there. Are you going to be there?
Yeah, okay, for starters, for a guy who's, in the 10 years, no, 13 years that we've been friends, we've never seen Norway in any major tournament. We've seen Sweden in a few.
Did you win it
All of a
though?
sudden,
Did you win them though?
are you
Oh,
gonna
no
win
trophies to show for it. I don't care. Oh, no trophies.
What is this? This is such bullshit considering the fact that you've never cared about Norway as well. So all of a sudden now you're piping up.
No
The
trophies.
minute Sweden shows the decline, you're like, Lillebror, this and that.
Söta bror, yeah.
Yeah, so that is utter bullshit, and yeah, I'm going to be. I'm gonna hate watch Norway so hard. Only because
bad.
of you.
Too
All
bad.
my other Norwegian friends, I'll be like, "Oh, good luck." But you specifically, who doesn't even care. That's the worst part. You don't care.
I care so much.
You care way
I'm a
more
proud
about
Norwegian.
it. No,
Yes.
no. You care more about the fact that it irritates me that Sweden's doing so poorly. So
No?
don't lie. And you have a Swedish grandmother, so that's a bit fucked, mate.
No,
Should
just to
be
escape the
rooting for
war.
both of us. You saw Andreas Granqvist tell Chiellini to take a fucking hike, and we saw him at the World. You know what? So you know what? You've seen the greatest thing to ever happen. A guy who was actively playing for Helsingborgs IF send Italy away from the World Cup. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
And now Norwegians actively playing for Norway have sent Italy to the playoffs instead of
Yeah.
going through to the World Cup. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Easy. It's
because
simple.
fuck Israel. So yeah, well,
Simple. Yeah. We killed Israel as well. We destroyed those guys as well. 3-0.
Yeah.
Easy. Hold on hat trick. But yeah, anyways, I assume that you didn't answer my question though. Are you going to be in the World Cup in a year from now? Are we going to go together finally to New York? You're going to order for me at Cat's Deli.
yeah, of course. I mean, that seems very likely a
Yes.
trip that we'll do, but of course, it all depends a lot on, yeah, man, the state of the U.S. as well. I'm telling you, there's been many reasons why I haven't come back to the U.S. and just the depravity of some of the places that haven't been great. But as people who are in Marseille during the Euros and nothing happened to us.
Yeah. That was at the height
You
of like a
know.
lot of like attacks and stuff.
I mean, hell, I was in Rio for the World Cup in Brazil, so like,
And let's go to Mexico
it
instead.
is
It's safer, I guess.
no, let's just not go. Let's watch it
Canada.
on television.
We have Canada.
Canada seems dangerous too. No, I'm just kidding. But in all honesty, very likely that we'll end up going.
Yes, for sure. And we'll also end up going to Game Week 8, which is going to happen now. But before we do that, we're going to go back to Game Week 7, which was before the international break, and see what happened there for your team and Kimo's team, which is the third founding member of the FPL Scope podcast. And then finally, the manager of the week, who also has some relation to the FPL Scope brand as well, or he's a friend of the show, I guess you could say. Anyways, let's move on to your score, which is 59 points from this past game week. As you can see, you are on a red arrow. Finally, I'm ahead of you also in the ranks. Not only are Norway better than Sweden, but I'm currently ahead of you in the rankings. But you're still doing well, 221k. That's a good rank to be at currently. You have a pretty good team, I think, as well. 59 points this past game week. If you can remember back to what happened in Game Week 7. Yeah, you got a lot of points. You did one transfer, and sadly for you, actually lost points from it because Pedro Porro just decided to get a fluky assist and get fluky DEFCON points, as he usually does. The assist was really strange. Did you see it, by the way? Like the actual goal from...
Yeah.
You know, because like he passed it forward, and then Goodmanson...
Great pass.
Goodmanson intercepts it, like gets the ball, like properly gets the ball, and then Kudus steals the ball again from him again. Like it wasn't like a, I don't know, it was a bit of a
good
fluke
forward.
assist, but
it was a fluky assist, but it was way more of a fluky goal, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, I mean it's a deflected goal. It's kudos. You know how he operates. But yeah, we
Yes.
went for
Okay.
Calafiori who hit the post. He was a bit more unlucky with his shot. So he got, but
Mm.
he still got 6 points. So it wasn't like the worst transfer. And Pedro Porro getting 7 points, kind of surprising, honestly, to me at least. And Van de Ven getting two
And
points,
did he
which is the
hit
typical.
DEFCON? It was something
He
random like
did,
that
yeah.
as well.
He hit Defcon very late in the game, I think, and got an assist.
Yeah.
So yeah, got some points from that. But other than that, not the worst game week. You always say, or we usually say, 60 points is what we try to aim for. So all things considered, it's not the worst game week after all, especially considering you didn't have Dewsbury Hall either from a suspension, and you had to start basically the players that you did start. But yeah, looking back at the game week, anything of note, anything that you liked about it, any or anything with your team that you're worried about going into the future?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really love that I have a double up of Bournemouth goalkeeper and center back, but obviously I trust Senesi the def and like considering how the game ended up going, I'm really annoyed that they conceded virtually the only chance that Fulham really created,
Yeah,
and yeah, super annoying about that because otherwise it would have been a feast. And Semenyo, quite literally one of the most red hot players in the world right now. Not
yeah,
even in just the league, but quite literally in world football.
yeah.
And kudos to him, and kudos for that matter, as Ghana went through to the World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. And
Yes.
yeah, super annoyed. I think Semenyo was like one of those jokey captaincy choices because I was just because they're playing at home and he's the streakiest player. So a lot of people who viced him, which we might see later on, uh, yeah, stings. But we went with the most informed goal scorer in the
Yeah.
world right now in Haaland, who actually bagged himself a goal.
Really
Uh,
nice goal as
lost
well.
uh, lost trip the top bonus point, right? Because he only ended up with two
Eight,
bonus instead of
eight
three,
points. Yeah.
which is fine, and it was a very good win. And Brentford have shown to be a pretty decent side. So yeah, this is interesting. Like I said previously, I think this is going to be a three-way race to the Premier League title because we saw Liverpool lose as well. We saw Arsenal manage win at home. I can't even
To
remember
West
at this
Ham.
point. Okay, shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the league points out. But I am starting to raise some alarm bells on Reinders because he's not getting the output, even though if you
Yeah.
watch him closely, he's always super close to
He got
getting an
close.
assist or a goal or something. So I'm really happy with his output. I mean, I'm not happy with his output, but I'm really just the eye test. He passes it every week because he always looks like he's about to get something. Yerkes, yeah, man, I'm starting to get really frustrated with him. I'm really starting to get frustrated with Juan Pedro as well, but with both, they're sort of like hold players at this rate
Yeah.
because they have the fixtures to
Mm-hmm.
back it up. And similar with Pedro Porro, I know if I sell either one of them, they're gonna haul, so I'm not gonna touch either. Um, Diouf, yeah, he's the boy. He got himself a cheeky, what was it, DEFCON or
Juff, he got
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it
Defcon.
must have gone
Defcon, yeah,
DEFCON.
yeah.
Yeah, Ed still looks like a lethal left back and looks like he's gonna get lots and lots of assists. So happy with him. Van de Ven. I'm kind of glad I got rid of Spurs defense, even though yes, Pedro Porro ended up getting a cheeky assist there. I the sort of Spurs defense is not looking the greatest right now, and yeah, other than that, Salah has looked fucking off as of late, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a pretty crazy stat. I think against the top six, Salah has like 74 goals contribution, and
Big,
amongst that,
big
the
six.
most big six, yeah.
Yeah.
So amongst the big six, he has like 74 or something goals contribution. But not only that, if I remember correctly, he has like 13 goals and six assists. Six assists is the most he has against any of the teams. But also, the most, and he has that shared with, I think, like City or something like that. And then against Man United, that's the team he scored the most against. So,
Hmm.
considering that he scored in the international break for Egypt as well,
Yeah.
I think it's now finally time for the Egyptian king to show his Anfield faithful that he was worthy of that contract. That last
Hmm.
year wasn't just a fluke year or like a final year. Because people are trying to tell me he's over the hill and all this type of stuff. He might be, to be fair. We'll know by the end of the season, but I still think we got more to see from Mo Salah. So,
Hmm.
yeah, feeling a little bit like a differential, but I really am desperate to sell him just to fix my team because
Yeah.
yeah, Haaland, as I predicted at the beginning of the season, I said he was gonna be top scorer. He looks like he's gonna win the Golden Boot again. So, yeah, uh, I feel like I need to fix my defense a little bit. And Arsenal, just defensively, they play Diego Simeone haram football. Seems only fitting that they play each other next week as well. I'm not gonna be watching. It's gonna be a boring. Stoke City football. No, I'm just kidding. But all things considered, defensively, they've looked the best out of every single team. So
Yeah.
it feels like I guess I have to start doing the double up, even though, as someone who has always said and as shown in my team, I hate doubling up.
Not
And
this
the
season though.
reason why, and I still hate it. And I
Yeah.
still did it because it was just a cheap double up that I could do in Petrovic and Senesi. And it
And
did work
Spurs
out.
before this game week.
And I did Spurs simply because they had easier fixtures.
Double up
The only reason,
Spurs, double up Bournemouth, and then now double up Arsenal, soon to be.
soon to be, and the only reason why is I did those two teams first is because the fixtures and also because they're so much cheaper than Arsenal. Because Arsenal, this is like Ultimate Team. If people play Ultimate Team, prices are getting fucked over left and right in this thing. So I got fucked over because I didn't do Timber point one change because I think it was like on the Thursday he went up and then what I think the game match day started on the Friday and that's when Semenya went crazy. So like yeah, really annoying because I feel like I feel like Arteta's now gonna just stick with Calafiori, Timber,
Yeah.
Gabriel, and Saliba. He shouldn't really mess around with it. However, I want to get Gabriel because I have a feeling eventually Calafiori might get like a missed game for Lewis Kelly, and I feel like Timber might lose out a game to Ben White as well because
In
he
the Champions
loves Ben
League.
White. I'm hoping that's where he does it,
Yeah.
but
That's been how it is
uh,
so far.
we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Because like again, if one of them has a brilliant Champions League night, that could also deter him to maybe go like, oh, you'll get a start in the league.
Hmm. Maybe. We'll see what happens. But for now, I feel like those guys are pretty secure. Like Calafiori has gotten so much praise as well for his play. I think it was Arsenal's like player of the month as well, wasn't he? The first month.
Something like that.
And he's been really interesting. Like he just has a free role as a left back, basically. Like he's kind of crazy. So yeah, I think your team is doing pretty well. 59 points isn't the worst. 18 Semenyo points is always super nice. We were pretty early on him, so happy to see that. Let's move on to Kimo's team. He had a better game week. He had 75 points. He had both Semenyo and Kudus with a lot of points. He also kept Pedro Porro. He has Gabriel. So quite a lot of points extra there, and also hold on captain, of course. 2 transfers though, however, which is not the best. Wirtz out, makes sense. He has not been good this season. But Anton Stach in as the replacement. I'm not so sure about that. Leeds have good fixtures, but Stach seems like a 1 week wonder type of pick. Like people selected him for Game Week 6 wildcard because he got 15 points in Game Week 5, but now he's lost out set pieces to Longstaff and he's not really that good in any regard, really. And could even be potentially benched, people are saying now. But yeah. Also, Wood to Gyökeres for a -4. I sort of get it in terms of Wood just being in terrible form and just not being a good player. Selling him makes sense. Gyökeres buying him also made sense. I think we actually advised that for Kimo. But of course, a blank against West Ham, not ideal. And also now blanking twice for Sweden as well, as Sweden just couldn't score at all in their matches for the World Cup qualifiers. Lost to Kosovo twice now in the group, the qualifying groups, which is kind of crazy, honestly. But yeah, 75 points for Kimo. Pretty decent score all around. He also has several chips left. Wildcard, free hit, and bench boost. So yes, he hasn't had the best start to the season. He is quite far behind us. I think he's like 80, 100 points behind the two of us. But he is starting to make some good moves now in terms of getting more points and having a pretty decent team for now, at least. So yeah, looking at Kimo's team as well. I think I want to just first and foremost, like Fernandes. What do you think about Bruno Fernandes as a pick this season in general? Like, there's been a lot of things made about him. He's gotten a lot of penalties, missed 2 penalties already this season. Do you think he's the penalty taker still for what it's worth? And do you still think he's like a decent option in FPL?
I think he has to sort of be, unless someone really steps up. Like, I think he still will be their pen taker because at the end of the day, he's captain as well. So, like, who's going to lord that over him? Unless Brian Bromo is like, dude, in practice, I'm scoring everything and all this type of stuff. Like, that's the only way I can see there really being a change. But I think Bruno is that stubborn that he will eventually just start scoring them again. I think the worst thing that he can do right now is not take them with confidence. Like, the worst thing that I've seen him do now is he either skies it or just shoots it with low power. He needs to find that sweet spot again where he just buries it. So, I mean, if he's that easily thrown off, like what was it against Fulham where the ref
Bumped into him.
accidentally
Your son went away for a little while there, but yeah, he bumped in, or the ref bumped into him, and then he missed after complaining to the ref.
Yeah. And then I think the one that he recently missed was just like a loose penalty that he took, right?
Yeah.
So, but we've seen some weird penalty misses, even Lewandowski dragging stuff wide. Like, it's been a weird year for penalty takers, just generally speaking. So, but he's not going to lose penalties, in my opinion.
No.
As a pick, I still think he's a bit of an odd one because Man United are such a question mark as a whole. He does cost quite a bit. You can get like Ismail Assar for cheaper. You can get Enzo Fernandez. You can get there are a lot of similarly priced or even cheaper options, or the ability to sort of upgrade into the Sakas of the world and stuff like that. I think Bruno is just a bit of a weird one. Like, I think I felt very happy with the Bruno that I got for that 1 week rental sort of thing. Like, played a shit team, should have had multiple penalties, finally scored a last minute penalty. Like, yeah, that's as good as it gets with him. Unfortunately, because Man United are such a weird mess right now. I don't know if it's Amarim, I don't know if it's the players, or if it's both. But at this point, they're still such a fucking mess, and like, they're gonna lose to Liverpool, in my opinion. Like, this is if Liverpool lose this, oh my god! Like, Arsenal and City will laugh, and
Yeah.
they have to take advantage of that. As simple as, because can you imagine like five, man, not even five, like 8 years ago, like a decade ago, Liverpool Man United, it'd be really difficult to pick a team to win that game. You would always be like, it would have been maybe in favor of Man United that they'd win it, sort of thing. Like, it's never been this one-sided, and it's been this one-sided for such a long time, and I still think it's gonna be. Amarim's shown a little bit more, you know, prestige about him when he plays the rivals and stuff like that. He looks a bit better against City. He looks a little bit better against Chelsea. Looks a bit better against this team, that team. But Liverpool are going to win that. So yeah, I think Fernandes. You could keep Fernandes because Liverpool give away cheap pens. So maybe that's where
Yeah.
Bruno gets his 1 goal and ruins everyone who has Van Dijk and all these random Liverpool defenders who can't keep a clean sheet for shit. So yeah, I still think Bruno's just, there are other ways to use those funds. Like,
Yeah.
for example, taking Bruno Fernandes, making him Sar, and then making Pedro Porro into Timber or something like that. For
Yeah.
example, in the case of Kimo's team, but generally speaking, Bruno Fernandes is just not United. Sorry, United are
No.
not that team anymore.
if he played in like an attacking position, then yeah, he'd be a great pick. But
Sure.
like he plays defensively. He almost scored for what it's worth against Sunderland. So, Man United actually had a pretty good game there, and he had a really
Yeah.
nice shot that was saved by Roofs. Could have been a goal from open play as well. So he does
Yeah.
pop up sometimes and get those chances, but in general he just plays too deep for me as a pick right now. So like for me, like I don't really understand, like especially with the money difference as well. Like Paquetá has the same like DEFCON penalties playing time. He plays more further forward, and yes, West Ham aren't as good as Man United, but we still finished above them last season. And Nuno Espirito Santos come in, and Amorim is still in charge. So I don't think there's that much difference between Fernandes and Paquetá, but Fernandes seems to be way more popular despite being so much more expensive. So yeah, and there are a lot of good picks like Sar and Enzo, like we mentioned a couple of times now. Those guys are really good as well. So yeah, some things Kimo can think about for the future game weeks. And yeah, I think just buying Stach when you had the money to bring in someone like Sar or especially someone like a little bit better at least than Stach. I don't really get that transfer. But yeah, either way, 75 points, good game week, and still some pretty good players in this team as well. So we'll see what happens in future game weeks. But while Kimo had a good game week with 75 points, his friend Tariq Gedawi is the current manager of the week. Probably butchered that name as well, so sorry about that, because you are one of our first viewers, I think, because Kimo just sent this podcast to all his friends when we launched this with me, you, and Kimo originally, like 2.5 years ago now, just about, or something like that. 1.5 years, 2.5, can't remember exactly. I think it's 2.5 actually. Either way, that's not really that important, but the important thing is Kimo's friend actually got way more points, 97 points in total, made 2 free transfers, Vicario to Raya, that earned him 3 points, Wood to Voltemade, which is interesting. Rather than going with Gyökeres, he went with Voltemade, who scored a goal and got 6 points. Could have had several more goals there as well. Newcastle created so many chances against Nottingham Forest. That was a really good team to target. Voltemade got 6 points, could have been more, but still have to be happy with those points. Also had Grealish with 10 points with that beautiful final goal for Everton against Crystal Palace, breaking the streak. The streak is over for Palace. Everton are the one in 19-1. Kudus getting 12 points, Gabriel and Timber getting 9 and 11 points respectively. And then also Michael Keane in defense with DEFCON points, 4 points. I think that's like the one thing that I would say about this team. Like you could have had 100 points if you had just started Pedro Porro or Cucurella over Keane. Because Keane against Palace, I don't really understand why you started with him rather than Cucurella and Pedro Porro, who are 2 really good assets this past game week. Or no, Cucurella played against Liverpool. That's fair enough. But Pedro Porro at least could have been started over Keane. In my opinion. But still, 97 points, cannot complain at all. Only used 1 chip so far, wildcard in Game Week 3. And Tariq Gedawi is actually currently ahead of me as well in the rankings, 15k overall, which is absolutely fantastic. Great start to the season. And in their internal league, because Kimo and Tariq have a league together, that's a bit of a difference now with Kimo having a struggling start and the manager of the week being super good currently in FPL overall. So yeah, 97 points. The team, how do you think this team looks for the future as well? Like, it's a bit of an interesting team, like some interesting picks that you don't really see as much, but still has like some of the hallmarks of a good team. Triple Arsenal defense is interesting as well. Voltemade is interesting. Grealish is someone that is highly owned by more casual players, but like content creators and the likes don't really have Grealish normally. They've gone with NGI instead. But yeah, what do you think of this team and the decisions going into Game Week 7 from Tariq Gedawi?
Yeah, very interesting team. Obviously, some Enyo Vice is a good thing considering what I mentioned earlier. But of course, really, really good side. Great double up of the right Arsenal defenders. A
Triplet.
little bit, yeah, a little bit skeptical of the fact that he went with Raya as well, because eventually one of these Arsenal assets are going to be sick enough in attack as
Yeah.
well, and Saka and these sort of things. And Grealish a little bit lucky now that he's not going to get to play against City, but you have really good defenders on the bench that can come in. Yeah, very interesting team in that regard. So I think I was the one who said Voltemada might be that guy. He's been doing really well this season. He's scoring all the time, even for Germany. So
Mm-hmm.
he's he took his price tag and went, you know what, Florian Wirtz, fuck you. I'm much better than you, apparently, because he's just scoring all the time. He doesn't explode for his sort of like he's always getting a goal tops, but you want consistent players like that. There was a point where Harry Kane was just doing that like 2, 3 years ago, where he was just getting a goal every week, but not really exploding like he's meant to, and then
Yeah,
would explode. So yeah, I don't hate the Walter Meta move, especially because Chris Wood is you know, turned into paper. But Vicario, I get getting rid of Spurs defense when you already have Pedro Porro as well. But yeah, it might be a bit costly with that many Arsenal defenders, especially
yeah,
considering I do think Saka and Yekis are gonna have to be in people like either one of those two are gonna become staples in most people's teams. So,
hmm,
and I'm hoping it's that both end up being that because then I'll feel much better about not having to double up. So, yeah, kudos to you. I think this team looks really primed and ready for future game weeks as well.
yeah,
So, and the fact that you have, yeah, you might have used your wild card pretty early in, but having triple captain, free hit, and bench boost
yeah,
with a very solid bench, to be honest,
yeah,
even with your team. Although Keane might
yeah.
soon lose his spot, and you still have point 0.6 to play around with as well in your bank, unless that's
Yeah, I have to
incorrect.
double check that, but yeah, it's point six. Yeah,
Regardless,
point
yeah,
six.
so if it is point 0.6 as well, you've got a lot of room to basically hit the season running and just keep this up. And yeah, hopefully you don't show any signs of slowdown. And yeah, it'd be funny if Kimo loses to all of us.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that might happen. We'll see. Kimo is making some good moves, but not as good as the manager of the week, who we'll talk more about towards the end of the podcast, looking into Game Week 8 and the plans for that game week, which is looking really good as I've looked at it already. But also, we're going to look at Game Week 8 in a different way right now. We're going to look at the fixtures that are happening in Game Week 8, and we have made some predictions as we usually do for each and every game week. And as always, I'm going to go through all of the matches and the scores that we've predicted, and we're going to stop at 3 different matches in this fixture list. It's going to be Crystal Palace against Bournemouth, where we have divided opinions. We have one win for each team, basically, in that game. And I think it's a really interesting game in general. Two teams that have been going at it and looking to potentially challenge for those Champions League spots this season, potentially. So yeah, we have we're going to talk about that game. We're going to talk about City against Everton, which is Man City against your favorite team, of course. That's going to be an interesting game. We're also going to talk about Liverpool against Man United, the big game of this upcoming weekend, basically. But first and foremost, let's go through the results, and then we'll stop at the games that I just mentioned. Nottingham Forest against Chelsea. We both have a Chelsea win here. I have 2-0. You have 2-1. You think Nottingham Forest will score with Ange. I guess that makes sense because he is an attacking manager, and Chelsea have been lacking a couple of options defensively the past few game weeks. So yeah, I think it makes sense. Pretty simple win, all things considered, I think, for Chelsea against one of the worst teams in the league currently. Brighton against Newcastle, both gone with a draw there. I've gone with 1-1 because I feel like Brighton always concede a goal, and they always score a goal as well. So I feel like 1-1 makes sense. 2-2 you've gone with. I think 2 goals conceded for Newcastle seems, but it's away for Newcastle, so I guess it makes sense. Brighton are good at home as well. So yeah, we both gone with a draw there. Burnley against Leeds, we were also a bit divided on opinion there. I go with 2-1 Leeds. I just feel like they've looked like a much better team than Burnley so far this season. You go with a home win for Burnley, 1-0 at home. I guess that makes sense as well. But then we get to Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, and I've gone with a 2-1 Palace win. You go at home, and you go with a 2-1 Bournemouth win away, which is interesting to me, especially. But before we go into the game, I just want to get your thoughts about these two teams in general. Like, how high up do you think these two teams could finish this season? Looking at how the league is looking right now, we are both talking about a title race between 3 teams. So we assume top 3 is going to be in one combination or the other: Arsenal, City, and Liverpool. But how do you see Palace and Bournemouth filling in the rest of the spots here with like not that many other good teams to choose from really, beyond the top 3? So do you think they can push for Champions League places? Do you think they'll fall off a little bit, especially Palace with European games coming up? What do you reckon with these two teams?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that both teams will fall off a little bit. I think Chelsea will bring themselves back up there amongst the fold, especially once Cole Palmer's back and
Yeah,
um, once their defense gets fixed, because they will spend gajillions come January, because even Delap got injured.
Mike is muted again. Yeah, the lap got injured. You mentioned it's back again, I think.
It's showing me that
it's working now. It's working
Yeah.
now.
So in regards to Delap getting injured, like they've had a lot of injury issues. They are the type of team that's going to spend like crazy as well. And I think in terms of experience, in terms of the squad and etc., they'll be able to handle their European sort of forte and journey. Whilst I think some of these teams, like as we can very much see in Nottingham Forest, aren't able to handle it. I think Newcastle are going to struggle with it a little bit as well. And I think, sadly, Palace will go for a deep run in that, and that will come at the cost of the Prem. I think Bournemouth might have an outside shot of actually doing this because they don't have Europe. They have a good squad. Kluivert's back as well, and mamma mia, what a goal he scored! Oh my God,
so nice.
Very much silenced everyone who doubted him, because he did get a lot of stick. I don't know if it was by his own fans, if it was Premier League fans and all types of things. But that was very much a big reminder of who is that guy. And does that mean Semenyo's going to lose his penalties? I don't think so, considering Semenyo's on red hot form. But Kluivert's right there to take up the penalties again, which isn't great in that sense. But I just really like. Again, I always harken back to the fact that I'm one of the I write manager reviews whenever we do the uh, FPL guide, and I did write about Ariola, and I did say that he's a top manager, and I no discredit to Glasner. He's done what Arteta's done in 7 years with that FA Cup win. But he is a great manager who I completely understand why Man United are looking at him as the potential Amorim successor, and they're both incredible managers. I just think that Bournemouth are in the right side of things. Not to say that Crystal Palace weren't. I mean, not many people can beat Everton at Hill Dickinson. So, but I just think Semenyo is by far like red hot compared to anyone in Crystal Palace right now. Ismail Sarr is great, but he's not Semenyo in my opinion. And I understand that Crystal Palace at home could be a completely different beast, but I think Semenyo is just riding off the high. I think Bournemouth have just looked really good. They look really together, and one of the things that impressed me the most is even in away matches, they've shown a lot of togetherness and a lot more capability than a lot of teams would in their position and crumble. Like even against Fulham, they conceded again. This game was at home, but they conceded at like the 70th minute and still ended up winning. What was it, 3-1 in the end?
Yeah, 3-1. Semenyo, second goal on the counter.
Incredible side. Kluivert's back as well. I wouldn't put it past it being a draw either, but I just have Bournemouth just usurping them because of there's just incredible form right now.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I think Palace are also like, they did lose against Everton, but that easily could have been a win as well. Like they had so many chances in the first half. It could have been a different story, but Everton just find a way and did really well to their credit. So yeah, I think just Palace at home is like what's gonna drive it home for them, if you will. And just the fact that they've just looked really good so far this season. I mean, Bournemouth have as well, but I think the whole match thing is going to be the main thing that gives them the win here. But I think it could easily go both ways. I wouldn't be surprised to see a 2-1 win for Bournemouth either. I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a really interesting game. Quite a lot of interesting games in that slate as well, with also Man City against Everton at the same time on the Saturday. So I've gone with a 3-2 win here. Pretty close win here for City, but I do think maybe I'm more close to being on your side there with a 3-1 win for City, just being a bit more comfortable because Everton are lacking Grealish, and we've seen them without Grealish in one game this season. That was against Leeds in game week 1, and they didn't really create much at all. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a bit tough for them because Grealish can't play against the team that he's loaned out from, basically. But Everton have some good players. Dewsbury Hall's going to be back. He didn't play against Crystal Palace. That's going to be a big help for them. Charlie Alcaraz has looked really good as well coming off the bench. Like, it's kind of crazy that he's not getting playing time because
he should be getting more minutes.
He is sick. He is really, really good. So yeah, maybe he'll step up. Maybe he'll get the starting spot here. I don't really know. Might be Debling, might be him, might be someone else. But yeah, I think Everton have enough firepower to at least score against City, which we both think that they do. So I've gone with a 3-2 for that. But you've gone with 3-1. You think City are just on course for something special this season as well, and beating your favorite team of Everton. So yeah, how do you see this fixture playing out? I think Branthwaite is still like slightly off. Like he's not going to be ready to play. He's close to getting back though, from what I can gather. But this is probably coming a bit too early for him. So yeah, how do you see this game playing out? And do you think Everton have a chance at all to get like a draw or potentially even a win here away from home? That would be kind of crazy. But yeah, what do you see from this game?
No, I just think that sadly, them at home is just too good. Like I've obviously seen us manage some random ass draws at the Etihad in the past, but we barely beat them at the Etihad, you know. And I just think us offensively, we are such a strange team right now. We're sort of in flux, especially away from home. I think City are just well oiled. You know, a lot of these players did extremely well. Like Doku looked good for Belgium.
Yeah.
Obviously, Haaland went crazy for Norway. Like so many of these players just did really well in their international break as well. Like not to say that Everton didn't have like NDI got like a few assists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like
We
we didn't do anything. Yeah, that too. And I think it was just I just think City are just too good at home for us to really make a mark. If it was at Hill Dickinson, I might have said, you know, we might have been able to get a little result out of it. But sadly, I would happily take us losing 3-2 because that means we were actually in it. But I sadly believe that it's going to be more of a 3-1. It's going to be like a little bit of a whitewash. Like, because even if we take a lead early, with Branthwaite, it might have been a different story. With Keane, we're definitely not going to win.
And he's even like potentially out. He has like a rib injury, so he is potentially out. So that would mean O'Brien in centre back, and then
and maybe finally giving someone a chance, but it'll likely be Garner at right back.
Okay, fair. What happened to Patterson, by the way? Like, wasn't he like?
I think he didn't. Did he get loaned out in the end? I can't remember. Maybe. That's how little we play him.
Yeah, because he had like a little run of games where he looked pretty good and had some really stellar games.
I like him. I like Nathan Patterson quite a lot. No, he's still with us.
Yeah,
and he played
against Doku.
He played yesterday. Played 89 minutes, so maybe he might get a run out.
Maybe. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting game altogether. Maybe Keane is back. But yeah, also interesting to hear you say you'd happily take a 3-2 loss. Loser's mentality right there. But also I think like another point, like we both love David Moyes, of course. Former West Ham, brought us to Conference League. He's been such a great manager for Everton through the years. But I think like one of the major drawbacks to David Moyes is the fact that he sets up really defensively. Like he doesn't really go for it. He has too much respect for these big teams. So I do think, kind of like against Liverpool, you're going to set up too defensively and you're going to be on the back foot and conceding a couple goals before you're finally into the game. So yeah, I can definitely see Everton losing this game. But I think you have enough firepower to make it interesting potentially. But City have also been really good defensively, especially with Donnarumma, who's had a lot of good saves so far this season, had a major save against Brentford as well that saved them in that game. They have a match winner in both ends with Haaland and Donnarumma. Rodri's going to be out for this game as well. He's gotten a hamstring injury, so he's out for a couple of weeks. He is still struggling to get back into full fitness, which might be the end of City's title contention this season. We'll see. But that is an interesting game for sure between City and Everton. Sunderland against Wolves, we also have a difference of opinion here. I've gone with a 2-1 Wolves win. I think the Wolves final, or the first 3 points of the season for Wolves will happen pretty soon because they've been really close in the past two game weeks against Brighton and Spurs, two pretty tough teams. They've been really close to winning those games, I think, now against Sunderland, who are looking a bit more shaky now. They've had a pretty easy start to the season, and this is still an easy game for that matter. But yeah, I think this might be the time for Wolves, but I also wouldn't be too surprised to see a 2-0 Sunderland win like you've predicted as well. Fulham against Arsenal, we both just gone with like the secure Arsenal 2-0 win, scoring a set-piece goal, scoring another random goal, and beating Fulham 2-0. That makes sense. Spurs against Aston Villa, we also have a bit of a difference in opinion. I've gone with a 2-1 Spurs win. They just seem to eke out wins currently, and Aston Villa just haven't been in the best form. But I could also see a 2-2 there, because Aston Villa are getting a little bit better, especially this past game week. Daniel Malen scoring 2 goals. Finally, he's getting some playing time, because he's a good player, and he's exactly what they need at the right-hand side. So yeah. But one of the main games, or the main game for that matter, is the derby between Liverpool and Man United. I've actually gone pretty close here, 3-2 Liverpool, because I haven't been that impressed by Liverpool this season, honestly. And I think, like you said previously, Man United can play it close in these games, but they can also win, or they can also lose quite big, which is what you've gone for. 4-1 Liverpool win there instead. So yeah, huge game, obviously. How do you see this game playing out? How do you see both teams attacking this? Do you think Man United will be on the front foot? Do you think they'll be a bit hesitant? Do you think Liverpool would just sort of finally start to get into form now? Like, what do you see from this game in Liverpool in particular? Like, what do you feel Liverpool will do in this game and the next few game weeks?
I think in regards to Liverpool and sort of sorting themselves out a little bit, because, you know, they've lost to both Chelsea, which I think, considering the Cole Palmerless Chelsea, is a weird one to lose to.
And no center
And Chelsea are
backs.
not, yeah, and pretty much no center backs. And then
Malagusto midfield and
obviously,
Reece James center backs.
obviously, not everyone from Liverpool can beat Crystal Palace. So,
True.
whatever.
True.
But these are considerably weird losses for them who have title contention sort of aspirations. So this has to be a bounce back. Otherwise, this is gonna start being real questions, especially about their spending. Like, why did you spend money on Isak? Why do you spend money on Berts? Even though any other team would be jealous of their transfer window, because they bought Kerkis, who had an amazing season at Bournemouth. They signed, um,
Ekitike
Isak,
as well.
Berts, Ekitike, who hit the ground running. Like, they've done some really, really good signings and fixed their squad depth a little bit. And all things considered, this is a must win for Liverpool, especially
Yeah.
at home. And I think they're going to go with that. I think the most important thing for them as well is to get Mo Salah going, and,
Yeah.
going away to Egypt and actually scoring for Egypt, because he's gone. It was concerning to me when he went in the previous international break where he didn't score, and I was just like, ah, shit, like,
Mm.
this is not looking good. Um, and I think that they know that they have to win this to stay amongst the race and to not lose even more points when they were ahead of everyone. So, yeah, winning this match also puts a lot of pressure on the other teams to have to continue winning as well. And considering the fact that they are going to be the last to play, if I'm mistaken, from the, yeah, exactly. So Man City and Arsenal would have already played
Yeah.
by then. So yeah, because Fulham, Arsenal, yeah. So they know what they'll need to do. They will bring it across the line, because, again, an opportunity to win a derby, another opportunity to embarrass Man United, who are just embarrassing, full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, they're gonna do everything in their power to make sure that happens. Isak, he loves a goal in the big games, and except for Kosovo, apparently. Um, like, I think this is such a good catalyst for so many players at that side who need to show something,
Yeah.
and this is like the type of game to do it. It's considered a big game, even though it shouldn't be, because it's like that Joel Embiid quote. It's not a rivalry. They always kick our ass. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
as of late, especially, like, we've seen what, like,
But didn't they draw last season?
I can't
Was
remember.
that
I
in this
feel
game?
like they did, and Bruno got like a random um penalty or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
but we've also seen like 7-0, man. Like
Yeah.
it's these. This is the sort of, if they want to win the league, this is a game they have to convert. And so far at Anfield, anyways, they've looked pretty good because I think both of their losses have been on the road, right? So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was 2-2 at Anfield last season. They lost
yeah.
3-0 at home, Man United, early season, and then like mid part or like in January they drew 2-2 against Liverpool. 2-2 is, like you said, Fernandes goal, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, Lisandro Martinez and Amad Diallo scored. Amad
Oh,
to get a
was
draw.
that the Martinez like
Fernandes
amazing goal, if I
Fernandes
remember correctly?
assists. Yeah, he blasted it like top
Where
bins, basically.
yeah, he like scored from a really crazy angle and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And Gakpo and Salah
Uh,
scored and Diallo scored.
yeah. So it's a must win for Liverpool. And I don't
Yeah.
just current Man United side, they are just too shit defensively to do anything. I do like their goalkeeper though. I do think their the new Belgian guy is actually pretty good. So
Semifinals. Yeah.
I think he's gonna be a big catalyst, but their defense is just dog shit,
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting
sadly.
game. We both have Liverpool scoring a lot of goals, so that could bode well
Hmm.
for anyone with Mo Salah in their team. We'll see if anyone has
Hmm.
that, uh, as we know from looking at the past game week's team. But anyways, the final game is between West Ham and Brentford, and I think like for some reason West Ham fans are boycotting this game. I think it's like against the owners or something like that. Kind of strange to do it in the first game in charge for Nuno Espirito Santo, who people seem to be excited about, but I don't think that's going to stop West Ham. I think West Ham are going to win quite handedly here because Brentford have been really bad away from home this season. They've lost against, Fulham, Sunderland, and Nottingham Forest, like three really bad away teams. I think they lost against like on the road this season. So I think West Ham could be another one of those teams. Hopefully, I say as a West Ham fan. So we'll see what happens there. But also now taking a bit of a longer look throughout the next few game weeks, we have the fixture ticker with the teams that have the best fixtures for the next upcoming game weeks. And right up top, we have Leeds, which is kind of interesting because a lot of people have been talking about potentially bringing in Dominic Calvert-Lewin into their FPL teams. Once again, it seems like Bruno Fernandes and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, despite how many times they've burnt people always find a way to go back, trying to get hurt one more time. So asking you as an Everton fan, you just saw him leave Everton and now he has joined Leeds. And to his credit, Leeds have looked a lot better as a team in general with him in the squad. But he keeps missing big chances. I think he's missed like 8 out of 10 big chances or something like that so far this season, which is a lot of big chances, or like maybe that's an inflated stat. But anyways, he has gotten a lot of chances. They have really good fixtures. He is the starting striker. He's on penalties. He's 5.5. He's 90 minutes most likely in most games. So do you buy the hype about Calvert-Lewin, Kevin?
Yes and no.
Ooh, on the fence.
Yes, because I am wary and I understand what he's capable of, but I'm also fully on the page that he's worth a punt, I guess, considering that they have easy fixtures. But he's going to be the most frustrating fucking player you're going to watch if you decide to tune into Leeds matches, maybe don't. Like, he's going to miss so many chances. It's going to frustrate you all to hell. But when he gets it right, he really gets it right. So, like, kudos to you if you end up going for him, but I wouldn't do it. Burnley away, not the like it's an easy fixture, but it's not the best fixture because they were so close to shutting out Liverpool of all teams. Like they're pretty
Yeah.
decent at home.
Yeah, they set up
West
super
Ham at
defensively
home,
though. I think they're set up more attackingly against Leeds still.
maybe, and even then, that doesn't bode well for Calvert-Lewin. West Ham, no. I think Nuno
Hmm.
manager bounce. I think West Ham can get a result there. Brighton away. I mean, he loves a goal against Brighton, so yeah, he's gonna score there. Nottingham Forest. Yeah, could be okay. Aston Villa, no. City, no, and then no, going forward. So, I, like if you're one of those sort of managers that has like a 4.5 a striker and you got like a mil to spare because you sold a Salah or sold someone or sold this, he's worth the punt. But if you got the template strikers, which is at this rate Haaland, Paul Pedro, and Yerkes, like don't be don't buy into the hype and be like, yeah, I'm gonna sell Yerkes or Paul Pedro
Yeah, or
for
Bowen.
fucking Calvert Lewin or Bowen or any one of these other capable strikers who have shown way more than
Yeah,
Calvert Lewin, who
Voltemade,
clearly
Mateta.
is missing open goals and shit like that. Has always been his problem. He'll be the type of striker who's running straight at the goalkeeper. He has the choice, and I've quite literally. There was once upon a time when he was playing for Everton. I sent Matthias a picture of him, and I'm like, these are the three options of where he can shoot: left corner, right corner, or right at the goalkeeper. And you didn't know where, or at the time, it was like you didn't know if it was a goal or not. And you were just like, I don't know where he shot. And I was just like, yeah, straight at the keeper. Because
Yeah,
I sent the
it's
picture and it
usual.
was just straight at the keeper. Because that's unfortunately the frustrating thing about him. Like he acts like he's much better than he actually is. On his day, very capable Premier League striker. But off his day, my God, just bench him immediately. What happened to Moise Keane during Duncan Ferguson's era as Everton coach? That's what Fark should be doing with Calvert-Lewin. Like, oh shit, I should be just playing any one of our strikers over him. So he's going to be super frustrating. But I completely get it as a gamble, especially if you don't have the template strikers. Go for it.
Yeah, I also think like the scenario where I would look at him potentially is if you have someone like Chris Wood, for example, and you want to upgrade a midfielder, you need money that way. He is a nice like guy they can bring in to get some spare cash and get someone like Saka midfield, for example, to just get the extra money. So he's a decent option that you can like if you just want to use him like for a couple game weeks now, then he has good game weeks, and then bench him after that and just have like a cheaper option. Like yeah, I get it because he is like he at least gets the chances. Like that's half the battle there, just getting the chances. And I think he was like a bit unlucky not to score against Spurs because he had a couple like deflected shots. I think he had like a shot that was going. It looked like it was going into one of the corners, and then it was deflected, and then it was this great save by Vicario to stop it from going into the other corner as well. So could have had a goal.
Yeah.
He had another good game earlier where he got like 11 points, I think. So he is a decent like cut price option, but I wouldn't really like go out of my way to bring him in for any reason like that. So yeah, Leeds, any other players that tickles your fancy? They have some 4.0 defenders, but any other like attackers? Okafor has had a couple goals. Do you think Leeds, like, what do you think about Leeds in general? Like, I think they've been like pretty good so far this season. They've had like they drew 2-2 against Bournemouth. We just heaped a lot of praise on Bournemouth, but they drew against Leeds because Leeds managed to get a point there. So yeah, what do you think about Leeds in general and potential other assets from that team?
I mean, yes, they drew in that game, but Leeds are good at home,
Yeah.
you know, and that they've shown that they're good at home. I mean, they drew Spurs, they beat us, they drew Newcastle at home as well. Like they've shown at
Mm.
whatchamacallit, Ellen Road,
Yeah.
right?
Ellen Road.
Um, shown that they've got what it takes to show up against the big boys, but the minute they go away, they lose everything.
Yeah.
So,
And three
um,
out of the next four are away from home. So
yeah,
yeah.
I think a team that's currently positioned 15th, and rightfully so, by the way. Um, yeah, I wouldn't buy into the hype so much. Like people bought into the stock of their like stock and the Stach or however you pronounce his
Stach.
name.
Stach Bowen.
Okafor, who AC Milan fans celebrated him leaving for
Yeah.
the fee, and yeah, he's shown that he's just
Yeah, I
like
mean, they celebrated Malik
Endoy.
Chaw going as well, and he's been pretty good for Newcastle.
Yeah, sure. Are you saying T? How are you saying that surname?
Chaw.
Tio?
TL, yeah. Chaw.
Okay. Uh, yeah. I mean, AC Milan fans celebrate everything except their own team because their team sucks. So
And they don't buy Reinders in fantasy, even though he's sick for City.
yep, stupid Milanistas. don't know football. Yeah, but all things considered, I think like Leeds defensively have shown some good numbers, which is why a lot of us have bought a cheapo Leeds defender there. But I think it's too hard to know who's good enough in that squad. Calvert-Lewin seems like an obvious focal point. Okafor seems like a fun little shout, but I would stick with defenders and Calvert-Lewin. I would probably put the Rodon, Goodmanson, Calvert-Lewin sort of as the top three
Yeah,
choices from Leeds,
main
but
guys.
I wouldn't buy into their stock that much
Yeah,
because like I mentioned, three of their next games are away from home, and they have City away, where I think Haaland's about to get another. Like, if I could triple captain again, I would. Sort of thing. Like, I think he loves to score. Yeah, so
in his birthplace.
yeah, that's true. And I think he got like a good haul against them once.
Yeah,
Like, I think it was like he struggled against scoring against them, and then once like really destroyed them. So, um, yeah,
yeah,
I think I think generally speaking, in that regards, that's the only three players that I think about. Okafor feels a bit too unknown commodity right now.
yeah. And his goals have been like a bit like iffy as well. Like the goal against Wolves was like a really terrible pass from Agbadou, and he just got a good chance from the box. He is in good positions, to be fair. And then now it was like a deflected shot that went to the goalkeeper and then straight to him. So yeah, he's in good positions. He's scoring from good positions, but yeah, I don't know if you can really trust him that much. But on the topic of that other former Milan player, this guy, Malik Chow. You can hear from
Hmm.
the horse's mouth how you pronounce the name.
Malik Chow.
Ciao.
Malik Chow. Malik.
Malik Chow. Yeah, pretty good.
Sweet.
But on the topic of Newcastle, actually, like they are an interesting team because yes, they have, they're not that far up on the fixture ticker, but in terms of the next four fixtures, they're really good because game week 12 and game week 11, game week 13, City at home and Everton away, that's not good. But before that, they have four pretty good fixtures, so and they have been really good and solid defensively. So Nick Pope is obviously like the main guy. He seems to be the goalkeeper of choice for people wildcarding and stuff. But they're also a team that have had pretty tough fixtures so far this season, and they are like one of the teams that could potentially be in those Champions League contending spots because they are in the Champions League currently because they are just a really good team. They did sell Isak, but they have brought in Voltamada, who looks pretty good so far. They have Wissa, who's going to come back at some point, but he's still injured. So apart from Nick Pope, like any outfield players from Newcastle that potentially tickles your fancy, or do you think it's just a bit of a wait and see for now?
I mean, I think Anthony Gordon looks like he's back in red hot form. He's looked good for Newcastle in Champions League. He's looked good for England. He's looked good for Newcastle in the Prem. I think he's good. Baltimore is good. Bernino, always a good shout.
Yeah.
Pope looking good too. So I feel like there are some clear standouts. I would say Alanga and Barnes do not buy their stock because for whatever reason he keeps resting them.
Yeah.
So and then they come on as impact subs and does something, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, maybe I should start them." So Eddie Howe's really strange for that,
Yeah.
but I think Gordon, now that he's fully fit and back, is always a shout. Baltimore, I think, could be a fun little striker to have, but I would think you would go in terms of like who I would go for. I would go potentially Pope, Byrne, Anthony Gordon in that order.
Yeah. That's
Because
fair.
I think the issue with Byrne as well is that his DEFCON's going to be a little bit messed up. But if you're aiming just for
At left
DEFCON,
back,
that's
yeah.
pointless. So, because I still think that Byrne is always an option and when it comes to corners and set piece
Yeah.
play, because they
Got
do
an
look
assist last
for
time
him.
as well, playing left back.
Yeah, yeah. Basically a better Matt Target. So,
Yeah, that's fair. Very big Mac target. Big target.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that assessment is pretty good as well when it comes to Newcastle. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the fixture ticker. There are a lot of interesting teams in general. Liverpool and Chelsea, we've talked about a bit in the past. Yeah, if you were to select like a top three assets actually from Liverpool and Chelsea combined, like who would you look at right now from those two teams? I mean, assuming Enzo Fernandez is healthy, I guess he would be a great option. But like, if he's injured, for example, like who are like the main Liverpool and Chelsea assets that you would like to have currently?
Liverpool and Chelsea. I'd say in Chelsea, obviously, Juan Pedro,
Yeah.
Cucurella, because he
Yeah.
seems to be like the only last man standing in defense.
Yeah.
So,
Chalobah's back though. He's playing.
yeah, I mean, Chalaba is great, but I still think Cucurella is, uh,
Worth the extra mil.
yeah, he's worth the extra money in my opinion because he
Yeah.
gets the assist and
Yeah.
he's showing exactly why Chelsea actually signed him because he got so much stick for the longest time, but now
Yeah.
he's clearly one of the best defenders in the Prem. So
Barca
I
DNA.
think he's great. Sorry?
Barca DNA.
Yeah, of course. Always. Should come back to us on the free. Um, I think Enzo, if he's injury free, for
Yeah.
sure. Paul Pedro, Cucurella, yeah, I'd say it'd be those three. If we get some more clear signs of Esteval starting, I would 100% consider him as well because he's just got that little bit of X factor that some of these players lack and something that I thought Pedro Neto used to have. But I feel like
Yeah.
Pedro Neto's just become super weirdly inconsistent. He's just such a polarizing player right now. It's frustrating.
Mm.
Obviously, I'd say don't pick Mudryk because he can't even play football. So it's just funny to mention him. But yeah, I would say those are the players there. In Liverpool, I think there's some clear standouts. All of them being super inconsistent though, which is quite funny. Obviously, I do think that Konate could be a little bit of a budget breaker, considering the fact that he is playing every game.
Yeah.
But considering Van Dijk is only zero point 0.5 more, zero point 0.6 more,
Yeah.
depending on price ranges and stuff like that, just go with Van Dijk. Salah is obviously going to be the hot pick. And I think, sadly, I would have said Verts as well, but he hasn't really lived up to the hype as
Yeah.
he meant to. Did really well in the. I felt like he did really well in the preseason, did really well in the Community Shield. It just fell off a cliff
Yeah.
as soon as he met Semenyo. And he was just like, you know what? Fuck this. You take the mantle of being the hottest player in the Prem. Um, and I think Isak definitely, once he gets going, is obviously going to be a good
Yeah.
player to have.
But when is that though?
Ekatike, I I feel like if we look at these games, I feel like it's going to be towards Brentford, Aston Villa, game week 9 or 10. I think that's when he'll finally have to be like match fit and ready to go because I
Mm.
think he will start playing every game now.
Game week 11 is gonna be so interesting, man. City against Liverpool.
Yeah, yeah. I think that'll be a very telling telling game.
Yeah.
I also think that um, it'll be interesting to see because yes, Arsenal play Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, one of the most difficult stadiums to play at right now. Just kidding. But all things in all seriousness, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how Liverpool are and where they're at because now I'm hearing a lot of rumors about they're considering sort of like this um, quadrant thing where they play Verts, Ekatike, Isak, and Salah, and I'm like all for it, baby. Let's just all systems go. I would have said Hakpo. It was a good shout because he is a very interesting player. He
Yeah.
does come up with the goals and assists when he gets to play, and looked really good for the Netherlands as well. He scored a pretty nice goal. Yeah, I think Akpo is also someone to consider. The only issue is we don't know how Liverpool are gonna play, or sort of like we don't know if it's gonna be Bradley, Soboslai, or Frimpong at right back. We They're just so in flux currently. I think he needs to take a page from Arteta's book, have a regular starting 11, and then make adjustments according to that. I like the way that he was like, you know what, Martinelli, you work better as a super sub. Let's have as they play the game, and once you're tired, you come on, show us what you got. And now he's getting amongst the goals and assists. Like you got to make adjustments like that, not just let me tinker with like 3, 4 positions, change that up, and oh, we lost. I wonder why. It's because you fucked around too much and you found out. So actually, you know what? Don't take my advice. Fuck you. Just continue doing what you're doing and lose the league. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So just don't take my advice. But if you want to have a winning formula as you used to, And that's the thing. I felt like last year he barely rotated. Yes, Gakpo got rotated with Luis Diaz a little bit here and there, but a lot of the core members in
Mm,
defense, midfield, and attack would regularly play, and he needs to go back to that.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair. But yeah, to just answer the question then, to rank like a top three combined Liverpool and Chelsea, the best
Yeah.
three picks from these two teams combined, who would you choose one, two, and three?
I'd say best. I'd say simply due to price and I wouldn't
Penalties?
say output necessarily, but everything considered, I think Juan Pedro first
Okay, interesting.
because I just think that Chelsea have really good matches. He's pretty much the focal point of attack. Delap is out. Like they're gonna need him to start putting the numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
I think him first. Would I? I don't love the Egyptian king so much
Salah, yeah,
as he should be,
so
but
expensive.
I still have to put him at number two.
Okay, fair.
But if injury free,
Yeah,
I would probably put Enzo first,
yeah,
right? Because of everything
that's what
considered.
I'm thinking.
Cheapest, all this type of stuff.
On
But I'm
penalties,
going in and on penalties and will
attacking
be
mid
playing as
90
the number
minutes.
10. Yeah, he
Yeah,
will play the number 10. So if he's injury free,
yeah,
he's first Pedro Sala.
yeah.
But if he's not, then it's Pedro Sala, Enzo. Because Enzo will be back by like game week 9
Yeah,
anyways, I
he's
reckon.
not gonna be
Like
out for long.
I don't even think he'll actually be out for this game.
Yeah,
He just might be rested if they don't feel the need to start.
yeah. Post international break might be that he gets rested or is on the bench or something like that. So yeah, but I think long term anyway, like Chelsea have good fixtures, not just the Nottingham Forest fixture. Sunderland at home, Spurs away is like a tough fixture on paper, but you could get a result there as well. London Derby, who knows what's going to happen? Wolves at
Yeah.
home, Burnley away, like these are good fixtures until like game week
Nicholas
13.
Jackson, sorry.
Yeah, should have had him. He would have been actually really nice to have right now, but
Yeah, I mean they tried. It was Jackson, I guess, who tried to be like, "Fuck that, I'm going to
yeah,
Bayern," and then did well in the Champions League in that one game.
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense for him to go to Bayern as well. I think he's not going to go there permanently. Most likely, that option that they have is not going to be made.
I mean, for one's president to openly like make fun of it and
Yeah.
say, "There's no way we're gonna do this," yeah, that seems pretty likely then.
Solid PR move from Chelsea though to get that extra boost in all the transfer window rankings thing. Like, oh, they're such a good selling club. Look at how much money they're getting from Jackson. Like,
Yeah,
they did get a good loan fee though. However, like they got like 16 million on the loan fee, which is kind of crazy for Jackson. But yeah, not the best. Like most of the players that they did sell were like sold at like sometimes at a loss, sometimes at a major loss, like Kepa, and sometimes just like a slight profit maybe. A couple like decent profits as well. But anyways.
but it also makes me wonder why do they bring back Mark Yu if they're not gonna play him ever?
Yeah, he came on last game. Could have scored as well, I think, against Liverpool, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. Yeah, we'll see if he gets playing time. Also, Barca boy, so we'll see. Hopefully, he gets some playing time. He's also 4.3 in FPL, which is interesting. Let's go on to the weekly wildcard draft. I do not have Mark Yu here. I have a different Chelsea striker in Joao Pedro, who we just mentioned. Enzo, like we mentioned. I don't have Salah. I did think about potentially having a Salah draft on the wildcard. And I think that's actually the first question that I'm going to ask to you. You currently have Salah in your team, but if you were wildcarding this week, would you still have Salah, or would you try to maneuver the money around and have a bit more like strong squad all around, like this squad right here? So Salah or no Salah for you on a wildcard?
I mean, Liverpool have good fixtures. That's what irritates me the most
Yeah.
about him. So I could maybe maneuver it so I could have a double up for Arsenal defenders by like maybe making a Dewsbury Hall of 4.5 and looking elsewhere where I could change things like a Fondo in would be probably someone cheaper and X being this and that. So maybe potentially even switching Gyökeres to someone else and maybe having the Calvert-Lewin budget beater. Um, but don't clip that if he actually goes on a crazy run. Um,
Oh, we will.
I know. Um, but that being said, I feel like sometimes this is what's needed, like an international break just to get yourself back into the swing of things. And very much, especially for these elite players, that's all they need. And considering the matches that he has, considering the fact that he's a bit of a differential now, yeah, I think I might have, even with the wild card, I would have stuck having Salah
Okay.
because I think it's more fun having Haaland and Salah to move away from because then you can just get
Yeah.
anyone. It's much more difficult to get back towards Salah
Yeah.
because all it takes is a Salah,
Yeah.
a brace, you know, 1+1 for people to want him back in their team. So, and he is the Egyptian king. He is a bit of a penalty king as well. Man United might be able to give away some pens. I mean, I'm not hoping because in the match of two evils, Liverpool's the most evil. So I would prefer if Man United got a result in that game. Also because I like Amarim. I still think he's like a decent manager. I just think he needs to let go of this re-5-2. Like he's smart enough to not have just one formation in that
Mm-hmm.
regards. So please sort it out. But again, I have a feeling Salah's about to go absolutely apeshit. So no, I don't think I would. The only reason I would is if Saka shows like he's week in, week out, that
Mm-hmm.
guy, then I have to bring him in. Like you can't sort
Yeah.
of like how I brought in Semenyo. Like I couldn't ignore it. I had to
Yeah.
bring him in, and I feel that much better for having him all those weeks ago, sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So if you were to get Salah into this wildcard draft, for example, like there's about 4 million difference from Saka to Salah. There's no money in the bank with this team either. How would you find those 4 million to get Salah in for Saka? Would you still have Saka? Like you can't really have Haaland, Saka, Salah. That's going to be really tough to get.
hmm
So to get them 4 million to upgrade Saka to Salah, if that even is an upgrade, how would you find that money in this team? One of the strikers, Bowen, Joe Pedro.
This team, impossible. It's like you have to get rid of one of the strikers, and you know which striker I'm gonna say just to piss you off.
Yeah, Bowen, of course.
Yeah, even though I don't think Bowen's fixtures are the worst, I just think that Haaland, Juan Pedro has even better fixtures and sadly plays for a better side. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it would be Bowen, but I don't. I much prefer this team because it spreads the wealth a little bit.
Yeah.
But a bit alarming that considering the fact that you also agree that Liverpool have such a good run of fixtures,
They
to
do.
not have a single Liverpool player
Yeah.
in this squad
They
is
just don't have that many value players. Like I think they're just overpriced. Like they are the current champions and they aren't really living up to that. So Salah is like just too overpriced. Like he is really good. I wish I could have him in my team. I'm actually like a little bit envious that you have him, and I think I'm gonna get him for like game week 12 myself and have him through wildcard 13, which I'm looking to do, and then sell him like right before the African Cup of Nations. And like you said, just like divide the money up because you're gonna have to use your transfers in game week 15 before you get 5 new ones in game week 16.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense for me to just have Salah and save up transfers for game week 15, use all the transfers to sort of reschedule my team, and then have 5 free transfers and a really good team going into game week 16 onwards. That's my plan at least. But yeah, I just struggle to see how, like, I think my suggestion, I think, would be to do, I said this in the actual weekly wildcard draft video, that I would do Saka to Eze, so you still have an Arsenal asset, you save like 2 million doing that, and then I would downgrade both strikers and just have, I think Calvert-Lewin would be one of them actually to get that budget money in, and then just have a dead spot like you or Callum Marshall, who's going to get some playing time for West Ham now. And if you do Saka to Eze, Bowen to Calvert-Lewin, Joe Pedro to Marshall, for example, or Guiu, then you have enough money to go from Enzo to Salah, I think, as well. But if Enzo is fit to play, he is pretty much a lock as well. Like, yeah, that's why. Like, I just think there's too many good value players right now to have Salah in my team. Like, I really like Semenyo, really like Sarr. Saka looks amazing. Enzo, if he's injury free, is amazing. So really strong midfielders there, and yeah, I don't really mind with Bowen and Joe Pedro now for these fixtures as well. Like Salah has good fixtures, but so does Bowen and Joe Pedro, so I don't mind going against them currently. But it is a bit of a like tough choice to make, but yeah, I gone with a Salah less draft once again in this weekly wildcard drafts this week. And if you want to see my whole video about all these players, where I basically talk about every single player, every single pick out of these 15 players, and the players that have been dropped and the players that were on the cusp, you can check out that video from this past week. But now we're going to move ahead to Game Week 8, the next few plans for you, Kimo, and the Manager of the Week. Let's first take a look at your team, and your plans are quite standard in terms of transfers. Stand pat with your team that you have now, but the most interesting part about your team, for sure, is the fact that you have Salah captain against Man United. We just talked about him quite a lot, and you've gone with him as captain since you have him in your team already. He's right there. Haaland plays against your favorite team of Everton, so could be like double goodness if he doesn't score and Everton get a result there, but it could also be double trouble if he scores and Everton lose and you don't get the captaincy points as well. So yeah, you go with Salah as captain over Haaland. What has gone into that, and could you still change your mind, or are you set on Salah? Like, how do you feel about the captaincy choice this week?
Fairly interchangeable, to be fair. That's why they're captain and vice. I've had Haaland as captain this entire time. Every instinct of mine says go with Haaland, to be honest, considering his crazy form. I've backed him the entire season, all this type of stuff. But I just have a feeling that Everton could also potentially focus on Haaland so much that it's Dokus and Reinders of the world that end up killing us rather than Haaland. We've shown in the past against Haaland at the Etihad as well to sort of have him have not the most explosive of games, but currently it looks like he could score a hat trick against anyone. So it's going to really come down to the wire. I have the thing that sort of backs my statistics is the fact that Salah has just an incredible record against Man United. This would also be the second time you didn't have Salah against Man United at home, I believe. And that last time, what was it? Was it the 7-0 game or something stupid like that?
It wasn't the 7-0 game, I think. Maybe.
It was something
it was
as
a hat trick,
stupid. Yeah. And it was a really stupid game. So I think a part of me feels like it could also be a good differential because I think a lot of people, more people have Haaland now as well. But it'll boil down to two things. And I think it's just the first thing we'll be feeling which player I just have a sense will have the better game. And secondly, I think it will also boil down to sort of news, if I hear anything in regards to like Man United that favors Salah, or if I hear anything that favors City in regards to any Everton news that I might hear. So I do think that without Grealish, we might look a little more poor, but I also think that offensively is not the issue for Everton in that regards, because Alcaraz could come in and do the job. We have Dibbling. We do have some of these other players on the wings, and
McNeil.
Dwight McNeil is always ready, and I think there's just a lot of options there to replace him. Juice Hall being back and rested might get himself a cheeky hat trick, I hope. So, it'll very much boil down to the wire. I think having Salah, and if he hauls, great, because not everyone will have him anyways. It'll be sort of like being Semenyo owner and versus not. So, but yeah, it'll very much come down to the wire. I'm pretty perplexed on who to have, but it's going to be one of those two. I will not go rogue and put Semenyo.
That is fair. Pals away is tough for him. So yeah. But yeah, the game that we're talking about when it comes to Salah, the game I did have him for was away to Manchester United, Game Week 9 in 2021, where Liverpool won 5-0 against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's Man United, and Salah scored a hat-trick and got an assist as well. So massive haul, and I used a free hit to not have Salah because I figured that would be a tough game. That was the Man United with Cristiano Ronaldo up front, Bruno Fernandes, the guy who shall not be named at right wing, and Rashford on left wing. Actually pretty strong like foundation in terms of just names, like big names and talent. But Anyways, they lost 5-0, and I didn't have Salah for a free hit, and that's when I learned that free hits can actually backfire, and you can lose points from using it as well. But for what it's worth, I think I'd actually go the same route if I had Salah and Haaland myself. I just feel like that fixture is just too good. It would have been even easier, or like a better decision if Branthwaite was back, even though Haaland has had his way with Branthwaite at points previously as well. I feel like I have this like image in my mind where he just like brushes off Branthwaite and scores a goal. I feel like that happened at one point, but Branthwaite is super good, and it's going to be missed still for Everton. But yeah, I think your team is looking pretty good for what it's worth, and I would also stick to your plan of just standing pat and doing no transfers. I think you have a strong team. You even bench Goodmanson against Burnley away, which I think is a good fixture for him. You're starting Dubravka in that game as well, so let's see if they get that clean sheet that you predicted. But all around, I think your team is looking good, and I think this is sort of like a last chance sort of thing for Salah as captain, because you would actually gain something from like if you downgrade Salah to Saka, for example, you could do that, or you could get a second Arsenal defender with the money and get someone like Enzo or Sar for that matter eventually. You have a lot of options there, but for now, with stand pat and captain Salah, I think that's the right decision. I think you landed on the right team here, benching Goodmanson, starting Dubravka over Petrovic, and just hoping for the best with your squad.
Okay,
so.
do you want to know a fun fact?
Yes.
He has scored in every game he's played against us.
Hold on.
Haaland.
Yeah.
1 goal in a 1-1 draw in his first ever season.
Yeah.
Then a 1-0 or 1 goal in a 1-1, 1 goal in a 3-0, 2 goals in a 2-0, which is a bit of a killer. And then he missed one due to injury.
Mm-hmm.
Then last year, he went goalless 1-1 in the 1-1 draw.
Fair.
And then didn't play in the 2-0 win because he had an ankle injury, and that was during the time where he was just injured every week. So, yeah, he doesn't have the most amazing record against us.
I feel like it's typical like 1 goal game for Haaland, like against Brentford, for example.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. So I think it's like a safe option. Salah could either blank or get like a hat trick. Like, so it's just higher ceiling.
So, yeah, and I guess that's the bit if I'm going to gamble or not, or if I'm just going to play it safe.
Yeah. But all around, playing it just like pretty upfront, standard, stand pats, do nothing. But for Kimo, he has several other options, I think. This is just me spitballing and having suggestions for Kimo. He actually has 2.2 million in the bank and 1 free transfer, and that is enough to go from Fernandes playing against Liverpool away to Saka against Fulham away, because there is an Arsenal spot open here. I think Saka just makes sense, especially for Fernandes, who is, like we mentioned previously in the podcast, a bit disappointing this season. Also, Stach, I don't think he's a good player to have currently. He's a starter in this team because Dewsbury Hall has Man City and Konsa has Spurs, both away. So I feel like upgrading Stach to Sar with 2.2 million in the bank just makes sense. He really should just had Sar last game week anyway. Or you could do like the spicy option. That's why it's red text and everything. Jökers to Isak and go captain Isak and go differential that way. I don't think that's a good option, but like if you want to go spicy captaincy pick, I guess you could do that. But yeah, just haven't been that impressed by Isak or Jökers for that matter during international break, or any Swede really during international break. You've all been really disappointing, especially you, Kevin. No, not you. You've actually been the best Swedish guy in the international break. Not saying much because Sweden were terrible, but anyways, this is not me bashing Sweden. The final thing is it is me bashing Sweden, but the final option potentially is wildcarding, which I think could be the case now. Like you mentioned a couple game weeks, you think Kimo probably could have wildcarded, but the last 2 game weeks has actually gone pretty well for him. But
still
now,
wildcard.
You would still go wildcard.
Just fix the fucking blemishes in your team and actually convert a lot of this good sort of
momentum.
I think the biggest thing is we're getting closer and closer towards the 5 free transfers, and you still have 3 awesome things to use, and I think wildcard's a good way to start. And I think there are some things that he can easily fix and make sure that he has a great team for. So yeah, I would
do you think this team, these starters, is it that far away from being a good team though? Like, is this like really the week to do it? Considering he's starting 11, like it's a pretty solid team. No?
Sure. I mean, the
Spurs
only
against
thing
Aston
that I
Villa is
can,
like their final decent-ish fixture.
yeah, I mean, I guess. But that being said, I feel like there's still things that he can fix so it's not a headache next week and price changes and stuff like that too.
Yeah. I think personally
But
I would wait a
maybe.
week before I wildcard. Wait for Spurs to get
Yes,
tough
he can.
fixtures. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
if he wants to bail himself out like that, it could be a good way to
He
do
has to
it.
Brock on his step to like step in this game week. You've predicted a clean sheet there for Burnley, so could be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping.
Yeah. So I think personally he should wait one more week and just do one like really good, like get Saka for one game week and then wildcard. You can bring Fernandes back on a wildcard for that matter if you do wildcard in game week 9. Or yeah, Sar just as a long term. Like maybe not go for Sar if you want to go like wildcard next game week. You could go Enzo as well for that same price or the same spot rather than Stach. Should have just done that last week, like I mentioned, but. Yeah, I think there are some decent options there. Option 1 and 2 in particular, and then wildcarding potentially in game week 9 is what I would probably do. But yeah, there is a case to be made for wildcard now. You could wildcard and bring in Salah, like we just mentioned, and Captain Salah if you feel like it. Kimo is from Egypt, so maybe back your countryman finally. But we'll see what he does with his team and if it works out for him or not. Then we have another guy from Egypt, I assume. Kimo's friend, Tarek Gidawi, who is the manager of the week. And I didn't mention this previously, so I'll mention it now. If you want to be the manager of the week, you can join the FPL Scope Mini League with the league code FNPQ83. And if you get the highest score in one particular game week, you'll get covered on the podcast, just like Tarek Gidawi has been and is going to be right now. And honestly, I think his team is looking pretty good for this game week as well. So I think, like you, just stand pat, have your team ready for this game week to just stick with the players that you currently have. Kukurea and Peraporo coming in nicely against Nottingham Forest away and Aston Villa at home. I think those are good fixtures, even though Aston Villa could score, of course. They have a lot of firepower. I think that's a pretty decent player to start. So yeah, I think I would just stand pat and save up another transfer and then basically do not a wall card, but like just save up transfers and get more funds potentially in the future to do good moves eventually. So yeah, what do you see with this team? Do you think this is a standing pat type of team, or do you think there's any moves potentially you can go for here with this team as it stands right now?
I mean, eventually, maybe some Liverpool coverage will be pretty necessary, but other than that, yeah, I think the team looks good. Um, yeah, I'm kind of jealous of this team. Has a lot of interesting players that I like. Yeah, but I think some Arsenal attacking options might be something that you should consider because, yeah, I think Gyökeres and Saka will eventually come good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, other than that, looks pretty good. Doesn't have Bruno Fernandes, so that's one leg up he has on Kimo already. So
Yeah, well, can't actually get Gyökeres or Saka because there's triple up on Arsenal still.
yes, exactly. So would consider maybe going away from Raya. I think that might be a triple up is crazy work, but hey, if it works, it works. You know,
Yeah.
you're talking 20 points ish if there's saves and bonuses involved there
Mm-hmm.
just from three players, which is pretty good. So, but yeah, I would I would reconsider a triple up because all it takes is a fucking random Josh Kingle to piss everyone off.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I think also just standing pat and then potentially switching out the Spurs players after the Aston Villa game at home. Pedro Porro is quite expensive and not worth the price. You can downgrade him. You could keep Kudus for what it's worth, but I think he's also someone you could just sell and get the likes of
Sar.
Enzo or Sar and like that. I don't think it's like something you need to do now because Aston Villa at home is still a good fixture. But yeah, Sar has Arsenal next game week, so you can wait another game week with him as well, but there are some options to get in someone else there in that midfield spot as well in game week 9 and beyond that. But yeah, team's looking really good for this game week. Haaland captaincy is pretty simple. Vice captain doesn't really matter. It could be Semenyo, could be Joao Pedro. Yeah, looking like a pretty strong team, all things considered, and a lot of chips left. Triple captaincy chip as well. Just looking at we can just go back to the fixture ticker actually and look at some potential triple captaincy shouts. You did mention City against Leeds in game week 13. Could you go for that? Would you think that would be a good idea?
God damn it! I just saw that. It was so shit for us in preseason, and
Who?
Malcolm Brogdon has retired.
Retired. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
NBA news on the head of the podcasts.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Fair.
Anyways, what? What was the question? Sorry.
Triple captaincy shouts. Like, who would you look
Yes.
to target with that chip, considering Tarek Adawi has triple captain left and free hit for that matter? Any of these game weeks stand out as a free hit? Like, I'm thinking like game week 11 when City play against Liverpool seems like a decent game week to free hit, and you can bring in West Ham players against Burnley at home as well if you don't have them.
Chelsea players.
You can bring in Nottingham Forest players. Nah. You can bring in Chelsea players against Wolves at home. That's a good fixture to target. Arsenal players, if you don't have them, have a different triple up on Arsenal against Sunderland.
Yeah.
There are some good options there. So I think game week 11,
Newcastle, Everton at home against Fulham. Yeah, there's some interesting games and teams to target. I think in terms of like triple captain, it's the obvious shouts. It's the Salahs of the world. Salah maybe against
12.
Nottingham Forest when we know for sure, because by then we'll know how his form's like and how Liverpool are as a team. Obviously, Haaland in the game against Leeds, game week 13. In terms
Palmer, if he's
of,
back against Chelsea, against Wolves in game week 11.
yeah, he does love a. Yeah, I mean he's good at hauling, so
he's gonna have like one of those 4-goal games this season as well.
It's gonna happen again for sure, and it's gonna be in a time where people don't expect it. I mean, hell, I had him in my team and he scored, and I think I benched him or got rid of him or whatever it was, or free hit him away or whatever that was. But yeah, I think it's those usual suspects of Salah, Haaland. Like, do you really pick anyone else outside of those two really to be your triple captain? Like, unless you're one of these geniuses that triple captain Semenyo last week and all this type of stuff. Like, unless you get like a feeling like that for a player,
Haaland is
with one of those two.
Really good. Sunderland at home, gaming 15. West Ham at home, gaming 17.
Yeah,
he just has a lot of good opportunities. Haaland to be a good triple captaincy choice. So. Yeah, I'm not envious of people having triple captain, because obviously we triple captain Haaland for 18 points times 3 or whatever it was, like a huge haul from Haaland. He got, how much was it? 16 points. So yeah, the 48 points I got from that game week, I'm not too unhappy with that, but there are a lot of good opportunities to triple captain, and I think there are some interesting game weeks to potentially use free hit as well. Like also for me, like looking to wildcard in gaming 13, I'm a bit jealous of gaming 14 free hit, because both Chelsea and Arsenal have good fixtures in gaming 14, but a lot of people will be loading up, or like most people will be loading up on Liverpool and City assets at that point, and most likely, and you won't have enough money for those Arsenal and Chelsea assets. So I think gaming 11 to avoid the Liverpool City fixture altogether, or gaming 14 to target the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal when you have usually Liverpool and City players in your team would be good uses of the free hit chip, for example. So, and then bench boost, the final chip that you have, I don't really care. Just use it whenever you have a benching dilemma. Bench boost is not something that should hamper your team both before and after. That's always been my thinking when it comes to bench boost. So
should have bench boosted last week.
Yeah, I don't really care. Bench boosts. Bench bird. I don't care. But anyways, that comes we've arrived at the end of the podcast basically, so I'll, as always, leave the final word with you, Kevin, before we end this podcast. So I'll take it away before we stop recording. Any day now.
Amarim should be sacked.
What?